Another amazing day for the Being in Sync 366 video series. Every day for this entire year, I am doing a video dedicated to the natural laws. This is essentially these laws govern how energy flows, how we evolve and change, grow, and manifest. Hello. Oh, we're getting comments already. Oh, I love it. Good. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome. Ganesh. Very nice name. So doing these videos every day this year, and it has been a wealth of learning, and I'm trying to provide aspects of these topics that are not common. I really want people to be able to hear what I'm saying and learn not just from me, but from yourself, because we are our own healer. And sometimes we just need a guide, and that's what I do every day, all day long, is I guide my clients to align both physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And we are always operating off of these natural laws, but oftentimes we do not understand these laws. And because we don't have a intellectual awareness, it often is easier to be misguided, misdirected, and it really inhibits our awareness and our ability to grow. Ma'am, I'm from India, a poor family. Your live session is very great. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. And, I would say that what you just said about how you are identifying yourself, Ganesh, I'm hoping today will provide a new insight for you, because you can be poor in ways that limit you. And I can tell from the comment that you wrote above that poor is not a word that I would use to describe you. So we want to really pay attention to how we identify ourselves, and I appreciate you being here. Identity is a topic I covered, but I covered it in such a general way that if you go back to the video and you'd like it to be different nuance, please let me know. I can't get all the nuances on here, but I do my best to provide. Hi, Daniel. Good to see you. I'm doing my very best to provide different ways of looking at topics that have been addressed in the mainstream, but maybe not from the perspective of the natural laws. And the natural laws that we're covering this week is specifically the law of gender. And why is the law of gender so important? Because we all hold masculine and feminine energy. And we want to be able to hold that energy in balance. Neither one is more important than the other. They work in unification with one another. And that is the principles of masculine and feminine energy. And so the more aware we are that we can hold both masculine and feminine energy, the more we can come into balance and unification. So I'm just waiting for a few more people to join in here for the live, and then I'll get into the comment. I first want to say I try to do these lives where I provide content up front, usually from 4 to 20 minutes, and then go into Q&A. But if you have questions, please put them in the chat. Which reminds me, I want to begin with a poll, because I want to ask this question. Here we go. Let me see. And the question I want to start with asking is on this topic of disconnection. Hi, Peter. Good afternoon. Good to see you. Hi, Eric. Hello, hello. So lovely to see you all here. It makes my heart happy to have people who are just as interested in these topics as I am, that want to learn, grow, and expand, not just financially, but spiritually, mentally, and emotionally, so we can be in service to one another and ourselves. Because as we align all the aspects of ourselves within, we can become stronger, right? We become stronger in all ways, always. So I'm saying two words: always, always. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in here with the content today. I'm just looking to see as people are coming in. Hello, India. Daniel, where are you from? I don't know. Eric's from the United States. He's on the East Coast. Peter's in Canada. We have people from all over the globe joining us to expand in conscious awareness. Today's topic is on disconnection. So thank you, Peter. I got this from one of your recommendations. And it's a huge topic, disconnection. But specifically, I wanted to address this aspect of disconnection from the heart, and really how this disconnection from the heart creates limited perspectives, okay? So then I thought, okay, what are the aspects that people are most limited by? And so I'm going to start, and these actually kind of build on each other, and you could see how limitation and disconnection gets compounded by these ways in which we are limited. So what are the limitations of disconnection from the heart? And here's my answer to that question as you answer the other question in the poll. The first one is we get limited by our belief systems, okay? And our belief systems oftentimes are those aspects in which we create identities around these beliefs that we're not even conscious of, which is quite, it can be devastating to your own human experience, right? And that directly correlates with the kinds of thoughts you have. So thought, it goes from beliefs to thoughts. How many do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to cover 7. So the second one is thoughts. So our beliefs change how we think, right? And how we think directly impacts our options, which is number 3, right? And then when we are disconnected and in limitation, our options are going to be very limited in how we can evolve and expand, because we can't see it, we don't know it, we can't think it. Can we be something we can't conceive? Well, I don't know. Can you? Where does it begin? And then relationships, because our beliefs, thoughts, options go into our relationships. You know, there's so many people that hit relationship challenges and they opt out, which, going back to yesterday's comment about scars on the heart, when people have wounds from divorce or heartbreak or so forth, it directly impacts their relationships. And so this disconnection has just a massive impact on every aspect of our beingness. And then those relationships, we have communication. You know, I come in to organizations and I address always issues that are going to be based in simple lack of communication. People not willing to talk to each other, people holding grudges, people having beliefs about others that are untrue or lies. I mean, you can see it just really unfolds in major ways. And then that communication directly impacts how you're perceiving what it is that you're experiencing. So we might have misperceptions based on lies or misunderstandings. I mean, it's quite profound. And then you go, well, if you're perceiving it this way, that's going to directly impact what? How you behave, right? So these aspects of limitation have a magnitude that go beyond the human mind's comprehension, because it's almost too overwhelming for people to understand how a disconnection from the heart can have such a huge ramification. But we see it everywhere. Like, if we're aware, we will see the disconnection in how people behave, how erratic people are, how they might have really extreme expressions of anger or narcissistic expressions, just different ways in which those limitations will exude from our persona. And so having a disconnection from your heart is really beyond the physical, because most people think of their heart as just, hey, it pumps the blood, but they don't really understand the magnitude of who we are as beings, because most people are disconnected at their core from their spiritual aspects. And even if you are a good churchgoer, a good Christian, a good reader, very insightful or intuitive in how you are perceiving, if you are perceiving in disconnection, it's going to create a limitation. And what I'm addressing is the disconnection of the heart. Okay, so then I thought, well, I want to give you all something tangible, right? So, and before I get into the tangible aspects, I just want to lead this into aspects that others perceive as intangible. So let's just say I'm working with clients and they want to get a promotion, or they want to make more money, and all of these things. They want to be in a relationship, or what is it? Money, relationship, and losing weight. That's usually like the trifecta of how people address their physicality, right? And all of those are dictated exclusively at the core to how you are aligned. Now, is it just how you're aligned mentally? Absolutely no. It is how you are aligned physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Now, I have worked with clients who have come to me and said, Kiannaa, I want a promotion, but I don't have the education. I don't have the connections. Nobody in my position ever gets those positions. And lo and behold, once we get them fully aligned, guess what opens up? Those positions that they never thought they could possibly get, because they were limited in their perspective. And not to say that you have to work with me, but it is important for you to have a knowingness that we must align in all aspects of ourselves: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Now, if you work with somebody like me, that will happen faster, but it takes time, because oftentimes alignment is creating new signals, and that's what people don't understand. And those signals go through these matrices, and yes, it's happening faster now than it ever has, but those matrices need to be pulsed with your new signature. Okay, and we all have a signature. We all have a frequency in which we are sending out our messages. So I just want you to keep in mind, as I'm going on to these next two ways, that I thought it could be helpful, because I want this to be practical. And, I want people to know that alignment is something that we all need to do, but sometimes we don't know how to do it. And I want you to know that you don't have to work with somebody like me. You don't have to do that. You could do it on your own. It just is more difficult when you're not surrounded by people who do this type of work. which is another reason why I'm doing these lives, is because when I was going through my spiritual journey, we didn't have these YouTube lives. That wasn't like a thing. And now much more information is accessible, but a lot of information is not resonating with everybody. Why would that be? Because you can only resonate at your signal. So you might resonate at a very low frequency and get tied into a pattern that you're trying to unhook from. But because that signal is so strong, your lessons haven't been learned yet. So the first thing I want to say, and I've said this in my videos, I think video one through maybe 15 or 20, starting in January, I talked about values. Knowing what your values are. So how do you know what your values are? You have them written down. You can't have them in your head. You must absolutely know your values, your top 5 or 10 values. And then I would say if you have more than that, more than 10 values, it's going to be very difficult for the average person to navigate more than 5. So get your top 5. Be average in your values, okay? That's okay, because the average person doesn't know what they value, okay? And then you want to say, okay, I've got my top 5 values. Go figure those out. And then you want to say, okay, these are my top 5 values. What patterns do I have that are actually going against what I know to be important for me and my evolution? Sorry, my nose just started running. Excuse me. I'm sorry. So what patterns do you have that are going against what you know to be important to you? So you would want to look at that and say, okay, let's just say you have a value. This is an example. You have a value of honesty. And then you want to look at your relationships. And let's just say you value honesty, but you have close relations with people who you absolutely know are lying. Whether they mean to lie, they do it as a habit, or they didn't mean to lie, or they're just not aware. Whatever reasons or excuses you give to people that you know lie, you now will know that you have a pattern of behavior that is going against. And another word for against is incongruent. So anything that's incongruent is going to throw off physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies. It doesn't just stay incongruent in one area. They all work together, okay? So when you notice that pattern, okay, I have close relationships with people who lie repeatedly. And let's just say it's a family member, because, I know my family members did that. Now, do they know they did that? Do they have some kind of other things going on that influence that? Potentially. It's not for me to judge or know, but it is for me to have awareness that, hey, this behavior is not congruent with who I am or who I want to be. And so do I limit my interactions with them, or do I sever them? And that how I behave might be different than what you choose. But what you choose to do, you must know it's how committed are you to your values and what you say is important to you. Like for me, if that were one of my values, which it's not, but if it were, then that would be a deal breaker. Okay, that's how committed I am to what it is I value. So for example, you guys know I'm on here, I'm talking every day about the natural laws and how energy operates. I'm 1,000,000% committed to source energy and my development with creator energy, God, and that deep connection. I'm all in. And is it hard to be all in on stuff that people don't understand? No. It's not hard because they don't need to understand my commitment. My level and magnitude of commitment is based on the truth that I want to operate at, knowing that truth is not a thought. And I think I've talked about this before, but truth is really a frequency, and that frequency is paramount for alignment. Okay, so that's an example about how you might look at your values. So you have your top values, and then you would look for patterns of relationships. You want to look at your relationships in personal, professional, all relationships. Then you might even look at communication in relationship to your values, okay? So that's one example, and I wanted to give you one more example on how you can become more aware of your patterns. Another one, so I said, there was relationships, money, and physical health. That people is the trifecta, right? So the other one that you could look at to see patterns is your eating, right? Eating is how we nurture our body, right? So what patterns, or for some of you, what rules do you have around eating? So you would want to look and become aware of those patterns. Why is awareness so important? Because it allows you to have conscious choice. That means you don't get to be checked out. You want to be conscious for every moment. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be talking at you, but I'm talking with you. Anyway, so you have these eating patterns, and you would look at, okay, you know what, Kiannaa, here's another example. Stress eating. I have a client that does stress eating. Every season, every busy season, this particular person, they know sugar and caffeine. That is where they go off their healthy program into this unhealthy program during a high stress season. Now, they know this. So they plan for being stressed. And so this goes to limitation again, because when you have a program that you are programming yourself, because you know you're going to do, so when you have a knowing, you have a choice. So when you know this is going to be stressful, so for example, the holidays, people always go out of their minds during the holidays. If you know you go out of your minds, stop it. You have power. You have conscious power to do that. One of the things that I love that my husband and I do is we don't go crazy with gifts, because Christmas to us is not about gifts. It's about expressions of love. That's what the holiday is about for us. Now, we decided that. Society didn't. Society pushes people to buy these material goods and give gifts, and so you could open up all this stuff. That's not what life is about. It's not about things. It's about moments. And it's about being alive. So when you have stress eating, maybe that's one of your patterns, then you would want to see, well, how many patterns do I have around stress eating? Is it just sugar? No, it's the sugar and caffeine. Is it when I talk to certain people, or is it when I talk to many people? Like, what is the stress? It's not about finding the triggers so much as finding the behavior, because patterns of behavior are also big limitations. Now, is that at the root of it? No, but you could potentially go from behaviors to perceptions to communication, relationships, options, thoughts, and beliefs, and then you would be at the root cause of your limitation. That is blocking you from your heart. Okay, so this is a lot, and it's pretty dense, but I know you guys are smart. So essentially, that's how you could look at patterns. And open-ended questions are very helpful in increasing awareness. So having 1, 2, or 3 questions that you ask yourself every day to increase your awareness so you can increase your ability to make conscious choices in the direction that supports unification and alignment. So why is it so important to have unification and alignment within, besides the fact that it feels significantly better in your body and gets you closer to feeling peace and harmony? It's essentially what feeds your soul. The connection to your soul is always going to be through your heart, okay? So the awareness of the soul is how we actually bring into manifestation something that's called actualization. In actualization, embodiment brings in life force. What is life force? It is energy, right? It is thriving, it is harmony, it is peace, it is congruence, it's alignment. So that's what we're all here to be our, well, we're not all here to be our best selves, but we're all here to grow. How we grow is determined by your conscious choice. So you're here, you're consciously staying on this live stream, and that must mean that there is something here that resonates for you. You're not just coming on here on happenstance, because this is a resonance. So with that, I'm going to see what's going on in the chat. Any questions? I really gave you a lot of information here, and let's see where you are at. I'm going to go back to the beginning of the chat and see if there's any questions. I'm so really grateful to see the regulars in here. It really makes me happy to see you here and to grow with me, and your questions and your thoughts are always one of my highlights of the day. It keeps me coming back. Besides my commitment, it keeps me coming back. So Ganesh is saying he's 24 years old but loves spirituality. Well, then Ganesh, you should be fully connected to your heart, which clearly you are. So then it's about activating all the aspects of your heart, not just your heart, but the higher heart, because that's our multidimensional aspects. Okay, hello UK, good to see you here. Daniel, you're from Lithuania. My grandmother's from Lithuania, or was from, well, that's part of my lineage. Beautiful, I love learning that, Lithuania. Welcome, I'm so glad to see you here. Mohammed, thank you. I'm from California. Okay, Daniel, the subconscious mind is scary because you're not even aware of it. Well, we can change that. There could be things that you're thinking at your own detriment that you don't even know you're thinking in the first place. Yes. Well, that's what I am skilled at, right? So when somebody comes to me for a session, I'm picking up the layers that they're not even necessarily consciously aware are driving some of the deviations that they're experiencing. And so when you work with somebody with that skill set, it can be very affirming to have some understanding, which is why I created the peace program. Although, you know, I don't know that a lot of people know that peace is possible for themselves, but it certainly is. Anyways, I created the peace program specifically to address the thinking mind, because that's number one, where our vulnerabilities are. Where our biggest vulnerabilities is how we are thinking. And that is, you know, really closely tied to our belief systems. And although I don't go into the belief systems at all in the peace program, it helps people when they feel more at ease. You can then look at things that are a little bit more challenging to understand when your mind is super active or overactive. Bermuda. Oh, hello. That's cool. India, we have a lot of India here. I don't know why I'm so popular in India. There's usually a lot of people in India here. What can be unburdened by what has been? Thank you, JS, for the conundrum. Daniel, we don't even be aware of the most of the time because most of us don't even know we have a soul or higher faculties for that matter. I think people have a knowing, Daniel. They may not have the language. And I think, I've been wanting to do a video on language, and I had a discussion with a client this morning about language, but I'm not so sure how it would translate in other cultures because other cultures have different sayings that I may not be aware of, but these sayings are what's called a reversal. So it's a known way of speaking, like one that you may be aware of or may not, but maybe there's got to be universal sayings in other languages like ignorance is bliss. How many of us have heard that term? And really, ignorance is your vulnerability. And that's why it's so important to have awareness. But people say, oh, ignorance is bliss all the time. But they don't realize that when they speak these words, it then becomes a belief. And then that belief system is present in not just one aspect. It's not just present at work. It starts to permeate all aspects of the life. So it's really important that we become aware of these things. And, truth be told, there's so much about how language is formulated that can be very, what's the word? Polarizing. Because our language often pushes right up against that belief. And when our beliefs get pushed, the ego goes into, hey, I want to keep this place the way it is, because the ego fights for status quo, not for expansion. Tesla says, I get all my therapy on YouTube. That's a good segue into, I'm not a therapist. I am not a psychologist. I am not a doctor. I do energy consulting. This is not therapy. This is absolutely, what is this? This is self-mastery, and that doesn't happen in therapy, okay? That would be an example of people using therapy as a way to say they get help, but there are so many people that will tell you numerous stories of how they went to therapists and they weren't getting the guidance or the appreciation or the awarenesses that they needed to heal. So this is not that. This shit's going to help you, excuse my language. You can help yourself. You are here to heal yourself. And you do that through consciousness. Daniel is saying how you feel equals what you do, what do you think, and that equals what you end up doing in the end. It's a cycle, right? There's the cycle. And a lot of people use the feeling of fear to deter them from doing this spiritual work, if you will. And I don't consider it work, but it does take some efforting. But the efforting is usually beyond worthy, if you understand what I mean. Ganesh is saying he doesn't understand English very well, but your speech is good. I was just looking on YouTube today, and I think I could put a translation in here for another language for you all. I'm not sure how that works, but I know in India there's many languages, so I'm glad that you're here regardless of pure understanding, knowing that we all have a frequency in which we're submitting through our voice. Alex, my drum, I will, but not today, Alex. There will be a day where I will go get my drum and I will have it ready for you. So you're just going to have to check in for that drum to make an appearance. Keep coming back, Alex. That drum's going to come. It's going to come out. Tank is saying, I'm putting the family on blast. Daniel is saying, I'm describing a cybernetic type of alignment. Cybernetic, I mean, this is exactly the issue with language. You could call it whatever you want. It is the isness of the oneness. Hello, Bangladesh. Hi. Hello, everybody. Saying hello. Who feels a deep connection with this woman? Oh, okay. Somebody else is asking another question. If one is honest with oneself, who cares for others' negativity? Well, negativity would be a resonance, right? So for me, I just scroll past comments that don't make sense, usually. Hexa is saying your real goal should be moments of a journey. Sure, be present. How can we overcome for the situation where someone sets curses upon us? We run out of options. Well, first of all, your pure connection through your heart can clear anything. Your pure connection to your heart and creation will clear. That's the best protection there is. If you're going to protect, you want to have that deep connection within your heart. Now, I wish somebody would have told me that when I was contending with what you're suggesting here. And these things are energy. So what is a curse? It's somebody setting an intention, murderous, hateful. Those are all thoughts that are that actually carry a force of energy when they're sent with a particular force, and depending on how hateful and strong a person is, and there are some really hateful people out there, and there's some other people that want to strengthen that hate because they feel like it feeds them, and there is an energy that feeds on that. But your best recourse is going to be your connection within. Your connection to Creator, to source energy, to God, whatever word you feel connected to. Tell me, why are we so blind to see, Brandon? That is a beautiful question. Well, there is a thing called spiritual blindness, one. And number two, the blindness is inertia. It's a being, that's the feeling of stuckness that people describe. Like, I feel stuck. We're never stuck. We're always just repeating patterns. That's what we do. Energy takes direction, it takes command, it takes intention. And when people fail to understand that they can command the direction of their energy, they become blind. So people just don't understand their power. So Brandon, I would say you're not alone in being what I call shaken, shocked, or blindsided by not seeing. But that's going to happen when you are in disconnection from your heart. When you're in pure connection to your heart, you want to see it all. You want to know it all because you know you are all of it. So what you are blind to are those aspects that you're resonating in that the ego mind doesn't allow us to see. So why are we blind? It's that we're in the ego mind, essentially. And that's where I said earlier, we're most vulnerable in my perception. Can we overcome fear when we feel alone or optionless? 100%. And you could do that simply by being in connection to your heart, asking open-ended questions about what is that fear? What is that connected to? Where did you find that from? Where did you say it was okay to be in fear about this and not that? Where are your patterns about fear? And the more aware you become about the pattern of fear, the more you kind of unravel the entanglement of the mind. It seems daunting, but it's absolutely possible. How do I know? Because I do this every day with my clients, every single day. How do we overcome optionless is going to be tied to perceptions. That was number 6 on the list. So how we are perceiving is where options come in. So one question that you might ask yourself in connection to your heart is, what are the possibilities that I am unaware of? And then you sit and you listen to your heart, or you sit with your heart open and ask that question to a trusted friend or confidant or somebody that you respect, and you uncover different options. Okay? I hope that helps you. Sanjay, how to overcome addiction of alcohol? Well, first of all, you have to connect with your heart, because every time you're drinking, you're disconnected. So see how, in whatever way you feel compelled to connect with your heart, do that and see what you notice about this idea of alcohol. See what comes to you. Swag Bag says, peace is very much possible when you finally find it, and it's so desirable, but hard to keep hold of. Well, this is an interesting conundrum. That's my word today. Swag is that peace is a pattern. It's a frequency. So you have to, in order to hold a frequency, you must have it programmed. That means you have to hold it for a period of time so it becomes a knowingness within you. Tammy, hi Tammy, good to see you here. Thank you for this question. How do we get to know your soul better? That's a great question to go into inquiry with your heart, because the more you get to know what's happening within your heart and ask your heart questions, you're going to get answers. Now, the key is to not question the answers you get. The key is to become a compassionate observer of your heart. And I think, Tammy, you will get some traction with that. So does that take a lot of time? No, it just takes a willingness. So Tammy, for you, I would suggest giving yourself like 20, 25 minutes and knowing that your mind is going to do what your mind does. But as you sit for 20, 25 minutes that you dedicate daily or once a week to just be present with your heart, whatever you're willing to do. Like, I'm connected all day. I want to be connected all the time. And now I notice when I disconnect, which is the question, right? Do you know when you're in disconnection? But so you will notice in your 20 minutes, Tammy, when you disconnect. And all you do during that 20 to 25 minutes is redirect your attention back to your heart and start to build that strength within your heart frequency. And that, if you want to get really strong, do it every day for a period of time and then see, was that a worthy effort of your time? And there's no doubt that the answer will be yes, yes, yes. It will be a resounding yes, because you will feel more energy, more vitality. You will have greater intuition. You will have greater knowingness. It's just like a win-win-win. Hopefully that helps you, Tammy. I think people who speak different languages kind of have different personalities for each language. Oh, Kate, yes, Peter mentioned something like this as well in one of his comments. And yes, that Kate is speaking directly to the personality matrix. And we all have different personalities, right? That doesn't make us psychologically ill, which is part of the issue with the diagnoses of people with these multiple personalities, because we all have them. How they operate depends on our connection and our blueprint, right? And when I say blueprint, I mean our soul blueprint, what we all are born into. Nick is saying, God covers my disconnection static. If you think that, I don't want to say what you think. I will just say that our free will is a big part of being a part of this human experience. And if you don't claim what is rightly yours, other nefarious energies will claim it as their own. And that's part of the problem that many people are having with fragmentation. Ash, I did not paint that painting. That we got that in Thailand. Thank you. And I love it. If you don't like it, that's okay. Do you have any info about women things in Turkey? I don't understand the question. Kate is saying they are changing mindsets every time, the different language they speak. It's like jumping into a country every time. I know I speak different languages I've never heard of. Like when I was learning Spanish, I could dream in Spanish. I could speak in Spanish. In my mind, I'm speaking Spanish, but I don't know the language. And that's always a language I go back to. But I also know, like when I was in Peru, I was understanding a language at a different level than what it was spoken. I don't think I was willing to allow myself to mess it up, to speak it. But if I was not in my ego, I'd probably have no problem speaking the language in Peru. I know when I've gone to Canada and people are speaking fluent French, I get the message. I get the messages. I may not understand the words, but I know the message. And I have no doubt that I understand. So, language is, how we speak is different than the language of nonverbal and energy. Do you have, okay, I'm going to pause this one that keeps on asking about Turkey because I don't have that. Man, hello, man. Good to see you here. Ash is asking if I'm a psychiatrist. No, I'm not a psychiatrist, a psychologist, or a doctor. I do energy consulting. Yes, I am married. The glass breaks, the sound quickly disappears, the pieces of glass remain, injuring whoever touches them. The same is true with the words. The wound ends quickly and the heart continues to ache. Well, MJ, The heart will continue to ache if you do not ever go into the heart. The ache is a signal of attention. Look at me, feel me, know me, listen to me, see me. Looking for anything that is about this topic of disconnection and limitations. Just looking. Any questions? Hi, David. Good to see you here. Dr. Strange, an eye for an eye will pay the price. Sanil is asking, what is my hobby? You're probably going to laugh at this. My current most favorite hobby is having these tea ceremonies. I absolutely love it, and it's just a beautiful experience to have a meditation with a tea, and it's a living tea, and it's very interactive. And so that's my current biggest hobby right now. Nobody says, hello, what is the code? The code, which code is what I would ask you back. Nobody? Good to see you. There's more than one code. More than one code. Get them all. You want to download all your good codes. Andrew is saying you can feel the emptiness and the numbness in your heart and chest when you disconnect from your soul. Yes, people can, but they don't understand that the emptiness is coming from the disconnection. I agree with you, Andrew. The emptiness is often what causes people to continue to look outside of themselves. To find peace of mind, feel your wishes fulfilled, and you are free from stressful things. Free will is dangerous. It leads to hell mostly. Interesting. Well, that would be a belief that I would, if it were mine, which it's not, Nick, that I would challenge. I would challenge that. Because it's a construct of living here on earth. So when you see your own conscious evolution as being free and untethered, why do you see that as hell? Why would that be the perception? I would look at that. How can we overcome fears? Well, I thought I talked about that already, but fears take time to understand what, and so they don't take time to even question what are they really afraid of. So I get clear on what are you really afraid of and why. And when you write that down, does that make sense? I mean, that's just one way of doing it. I have another process that I use with my clients, but you know, you could try that and develop your own process, because the process of being in fear, the experience of being in fear, there are many different processes to clearing fear and freeing yourself and challenging what your beliefs are. So find one that works for you. If one doesn't work, try another one. There's many ways to get out of fear. The one way we know that doesn't work is taking a pill. It does not work. I don't really have an opinion of Andrew Tate. He's, do I have an opinion? I really don't think I have an opinion on Andrew Tate. I'm very neutral with him. I don't have an opinion either way. I live in the United States. Hey, I look German. Okay. Hi, Kay. Good to see you here. Hi, Monica. When did I get married? It'll be 10 years this year, December. It's very hard to connect to most people that are very base level. If you bring anything esoteric up, they look at you side-eyed. Well, I can relate to that. But I'm okay with the side eye. But I want to offer you a different perspective here, Daniel. What if you didn't try to connect with them in conversation? What if you just met them with an open heart and witnessed them through your compassionate observation? Would that be a connection worthy of experimenting with? I think so. I think we get stuck in wanting to have more meaningful conversations. And for that, I usually address that with a question. I ask questions to connect with people in a different way. But I will tell you, there are some people I just can't connect with. I had an experience the other day where I was talking with somebody, and on the surface, you would think we have so many things in common, but I just couldn't connect with this person. And so I just observed compassionately. And I also made the decision, I don't want to do this anymore. And I just stopped asking questions because I didn't want to have that type of conversation. So I don't like to have a lot of, but I get you. I align with what you're saying there. I'm drinking water. Outlaw is saying you have to meditate and change your vibration to meet others like yourself. Well, it's a resonance, right? And also, you're not going to meet people that are just like you. You're going to meet people who are going to reflect aspects of you that you have yet to integrate sometimes. I am seeing a whole world in your eyes. Okay. I don't know why I can't go outside. I've been inside my room for almost 5 years. It feels weird getting outside. Why is that? Because you're uncomfortable. Souls and a body are vulnerability to entity. Soul and body are vulnerable to entities. Is that true? Only in disconnection. Our vulnerabilities are exemplified through our disconnection and through our incongruence through all the bodies. So I'm just going to take a moment here and look at that. Do you know when you are in disconnection? 53% say yes. And 47% say no. Do you know when? That's beautiful. So 50-50. So those of you who know that you're in disconnection, I would ask you next is, what do you do after you know? Do you have a strategy? Do you have a strategy with your heart? So here's another one. A disconnect outlaw, you probably missed the first half, but disconnection from the heart. So here's a new poll. Do you have so 50% of you, more than 50%, show that they know when they're in disconnection. So I'm going to speak to the mass, the favorable mass that say, yes, I know I'm in disconnection. I know when I disconnect. The second question is, how are you strategizing to reconnect? Right? Because if we know we're in disconnection, the moment we have that awareness is a choice. So when you have a choice, it's I'm going to keep on being disconnected, or I'm going to go find out what caused me to disconnect, or I'm going to see, I'm going to check in with myself. Some of you might say my strategy is meditation, but oftentimes when people are in disconnection, that it's hard to reconnect with our hearts. Does sleeping make us disconnected? I would say lack of intention prior to sleep time can cause a disconnection. I don't think that sleep is a disconnection. Obviously, sleep is required for renewal, right? It's a multi-dimensional tool that we could use to our benefit if we are consciously choosing to use sleep time as an aspect of our evolution. I don't know how many people do sleep time meditations, or not meditations, but sleep time intentions, which are very, very helpful. All right, well, I'm just about over an hour. If there's no pressing questions on disconnection and how that creates limitation within us and different ways in which you can increase your conscious awareness of your patterns, I will sign off. So I'll just wait a minute, see if there's any final questions. And you know, y'all, I'm here every day between 12 and 3 p.m. Doing these videos, providing a new perspective. Great. Okay, no questions. Thank you so much, you all. I'm here every day between 12 and 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Every day is a different topic, trying to bring you a new perspective on how you can practice and be in alignment with the natural laws. Thank you so much for your time, Oliver and Peter. I appreciate you. Everybody have a great day. So proud and honored to be a part of this journey with you. If you're new here, please put on your notifications, okay? Have a great day. Bye.